Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy and a wonderful happy accident that I think is emerging. Let me tell you what it is, and we can talk it through. Okay, so um, the Hollywood actor strike, all right? And you're like, wait, Scott, isn't it WGA and SAG-AFTRA? First of all, there's a lot of acronyms. I want to, it's complicated talking about politics and culture. And so let's shove the acronyms aside and let's get down to brass tacks, okay? And you're like, Scott, Hollywood actor strike? No. The writers are in there. Nobody cares. That's one of I think that's one of the things that is really shocking is the writers went on strike. The Hollywood writers went on strike first, and Americans were really like, we legit do not care about this strike, right? Like, and I think the reason why was Americans were like, listen, you are an incredibly homogenized group. Most of you are a ward cleaver type with an Ivy degree. And you're about the last person in America that anybody wants, that anybody feels any sympathy for, right? You have every privilege in the world at the macro level. And America doesn't care about this, right? And legit, you saw writers just coming out and talking about their plight, and they didn't even get a word out of their mouth. They're like, we know you don't care about this. Like, some were just saying it openly. They're like, please care about this because we know you think we're just right. We're getting tens of thousands of dollars. And I heard one report where they turned down an offer. The writers turned down an offer of $11,000 a day. Like, that would have paid some of their writers $11,000 a day. And they're like, that's not enough, right? And Americans are legit like, we are not having it. We do not care about the plight of Hollywood writers. When did America care? When the Hollywood actors arrived and were like, hey, we're on strike. And everybody was like, we very much care now, right? So I think this really is the Hollywood actor strike. The fact that the writers are in the mix means quite literally nothing, in my humble opinion. That did not manifest into anything real. The Hollywood actors are very real, right? But now, when the Hollywood actors went on strike, first of all, it shut everything down, right? Now, I do not have sympathy for Hollywood actors or Hollywood writers. The reality is I think they have made a bed that they are sleeping in right now. And I have incredible sympathy for Hollywood studios and the reason why is I go to the movies and I see that literally a century-old industry is on its last breath, and everybody has bet everything on streaming, and that has not turned out to be profitable for any company except Netflix. So I understand the Hollywood studios are actually in legit a ton of problems, a ton of trouble. And the Hollywood actors are like, split up the money, and they're like, I don't think you understand. There ain't much money around, right? And legit, we are in a point. People do not understand this. We're in a point where, legitimately, people are very frightened that there may not be any money for anyone, right? And that is pretty dramatically, that is a major issue, right? So that is a really significant problem, right? Very real, very significant issue, right? So with all that said, how could this be a major move forward for Vivek Ramaswamy? Well, there's a very distinct possibility that this could be a massive move forward for Vivek Ramaswamy, the Hollywood actor strike, right? And why would that be? Well, I think it's a happy accident. We are in a time where legitimately the world in many ways is on fire, right? The regular world. And we have some very real, very significant problems, right? But every now and then we catch a break. And I think the Hollywood actors strike could be a huge break for American politics and for Vivek Ramaswamy specifically. Let me explain how that manifests, right? So first of all, I have to say I'm going to give my condolences to the lighting people, the people who, when the Hollywood actors went on strike, first of all, I agree with what most, even what most Hollywood actors are saying. We understand you know us as millionaires who can do anything, right? And so it's hard for you to have sympathy for us. Yes, that's exactly right. I think it's hard for me to have sympathy for millionaires who, have some of the most powerful positions in the world. The American celebrity is the most powerful. But there are a lot of people who serve them do not have that power. So grips, right? People who lug, the people who do the lighting, people who open up the doors and lock the doors down and set up the sets and break down the sets, makeup artists and clothiers, right? The people who wardrobe, right? All these people, like, who are actually on set doing actual labor, right? And their jobs disappeared overnight when the Hollywood actors went on strike, right? Nothing stopped when the writers went on strike, right? But like legit, the actors, like, they were shutting down before the day was out, right? When the actors went on strike, truly powerful, right? So how could this turn out to be a happy accident? Well, I'll tell you right now, you and I are philosopher kings. We care about what happens to our country. We care about our leadership, and we are engaged. The vast majority of Americans do not give two rat tails for what we're talking about here, right? And so generally they ignore this, and you have literally hundreds of millions of people who are just going to pull the lever for Biden or pull the lever for Trump. And, and their entire thought and discussion about this is going to be 10 minutes over a barbecue, right? Which probably happened on Labor Day. They do not care, right? It is very legit, right? So what could make them care? A media blackout. And that's where we are right now at the beginning of, right? So legit, I love the movies, and I have this movie pass, and I had to go and decide if it was worth my money to keep the movie pass going, right? And to continue to pay $25 a month for my movie pass because there might not be two good movies to see. And the reason why is everything's shut down, right? Like, the actors' strike shut down Hollywood. And what's really going to be wild is right when we need people to be paying attention in February, March, April, May, June, there will be a media blackout the likes you have never seen before, right? It's all going to be rotten fruit on the shelves. Just crusty old reruns that ain't nobody want to watch, and nothing new, nothing fresh, except politics, right? And you and I know the truth of it. You and I know that politics are incredibly exciting. There is this cultural combat that occurs. There's reputation combat that occurs. This virtual combat that occurs within the political sphere. There's this exploration that's done of what are the possibilities of what we can do with our resources, right? There's this interaction that happens between, blue collar and white collar and, people who have all kinds of different things they care about, stances and agendas, and all this interaction with people who don't normally interact, right? And so we know that there's drama here, that there's entertainment here, right? And finally, America may look at it because they have nothing else to look at. All the fruit is rotten on the shelves. There's no fresh fruit to eat, right? Except the drama, the entertainment, the virtual combat, the virtual interaction, the virtual exploration that happens in politics. That is fascinating. That is a happy accident. I think the only thing that I'm very upset about is I wish it didn't have to impact those grips, those lighters, those wardrobe people, those makeup people, the real laborers in Hollywood who, in many ways, the Hollywood actors, I think, are kind of starving out at this point. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. Are you excited? Do you see this possibility where we may have millions of people looking at politics because they have to, right? And that the Hollywood actors may really have created this void, which is the only thing that would turn the American people's attention to politics. I'm a little excited about this. This is a really unique opportunity. I don't think anybody intended it. It's simply a happy accident. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.